While initially it was heavily overshadowed by both Star Trek and Rick and Morty, of late, Star Trek Lower Decks has escaped the two to become a hilarious adult comedy with a lot of heart. Considering how well it tied up all the loose ends and in turn sets the stage for Season 4, the Season 3 finale, you'll have to admit, is the show's best season ender yet. So let's do a deep dive into it. First things first, the Evil Admiral and Texas-class starships explained. What's a Star Trek spin-off without a rotten apple to spoil the barrel? Of course, we appreciate the heroes, but it's always the bad guys that keep things interesting. In case you're still confused, we're referring to none other than the latest Starfleet Admiral, Les Buenamigo. In the Season 3 finale, Les comes clean about setting Captain Freeman and the Cerritos up for failure in their mission to Deep Space Nine. This, as you guys might already know, is in an attempt to invalidate the usefulness of the California class. Before you ask, yes, we know he wanted to bring the fully automated and AI-powered Texas-class starships in because, according to him, they would save lives by not putting starship crews at risk. But hey, let's not forget how he was happy to sacrifice the crew of the USS Cerritos to prove their superiority, which simply translates to an attempt to carve a name for himself in Starfleet. Anyway, due to science officer in training Ensign Devon Attendee's presence of mind, Freeman was able to prove how the Texas-class ship's AI misses crucial decisions and can't replace a competent Starfleet crew. Now, since Buenamigo had made these ships fully sentient, towards the end, one of them, the Aledo, immediately decided that it was superior to organic life and attacked the Federation starbase Douglas, killing Les in the process. So yeah, the Admiral finally fell prey to his own lofty and twisted ambitions. Moving on to how the secret of Rutherford's implant ties into the Season 3 finale. If you've been paying serious attention, you might have picked up on how Rutherford's malfunctioning implant has been hinted at since Season 1. Well, before the season finale could answer all of the questions regarding it, the showrunners decided to give us a little backstory in Episode 5, titled Reflections. The episode revealed that before the accident that required him to receive the implant, Rutherford was an arrogant and selfish genius. Not just any genius, mind you, one who was working for Lieutenant Commander Buenamigo and helped build the prototype USS Aledo. Yep, you heard that right. Speaking of the Aledo, the code used in its AI was the same code used in Sam's implant. And get this, it was Les who ordered the implant to be placed in Rutherford in the first place. So basically, Buenamigo rose in Starfleet by manipulating Rutherford. Well, we're glad this mystery has been solved at last, and that Sam realized the truth just in time. What's more, when Mariner saved the Cerritos and proved she belonged in Starfleet. We don't know about you, but we didn't take Mariner's departure from Starfleet too well. So imagine our delight when the season finale presented her with an opportunity to make a comeback. To elaborate, she was having the time of her life as a space archaeologist Tomb Raider alongside Petra Aberdeen, but soon she started suspecting her of being funded by someone nefarious. And boy was she right. It turned out that Aberdeen was being backed by Admiral Jean-Luc Picard. Eventually admitting that she was looking for an excuse to go back to Starfleet, she all but jumped at the opportunity to save the USS Cerritos from the Aledo's attack. At the simplest, and especially seeing that Ensign Brad Boimler's attempt to eject the warp core to destroy the Texas-class ships didn't destroy the Aledo, Mariner came to the rescue by calling in the entire California-class fleet. As a result, Starfleet welcomed her back with open arms. She too decided that being in Starfleet is her first best destiny. As a matter of fact, she even asked for Commander Jack Ransom to mentor her again. Before we move on, we'd also like to point out how her leading the California-class crews in a chant was a really nice touch. Following up, when the lower decks proved the California-class's importance. We all know that before the Admiral decided to sabotage it, Captain Freeman and the Cerritos had almost succeeded in championing the California-class's second contact mission, specifically with their Project Swing By initiative. Now, if you think about it, the Cali-class fleet coming together to destroy the USS Aledo was actually symbolic proof of their worth and the importance of second contact. Not just that, in its own way, it also presented Star Trek Lower Decks with an opportunity to assert itself and make its place in the Star Trek pantheon. In consequence, the show is no longer an outlier in the franchise like it was at the time of its debut. You might remember how in the first season's finale, the Cerritos was rescued by Captain Will Riker and the USS Titan, but this time around, the California class saved themselves, with no Star Trek The Next Generation interference required. What's more, the Cerritos didn't need special guest stars or outside saviors this time either. This goes to show that Star Trek Lower Decks has finally taken on a life of its own, as well as being Star Trek through and through. Let's also talk about T'Lyn will be Season 4's new Lower Decker. Since her introduction in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2's 9th episode, fans noticed how T'Lyn was absent from nearly all of the show's third season. But come the season finale, we saw her rejoining the series. That too as the newest science officer in training aboard the USS Cerritos, and hopefully as Tendy's new best friend as well. For anyone who has forgotten, she was kicked out of her Vulcan starship for being overly emotional, so her return obviously signals that she's now joined Starfleet. Although we can't be too sure about the rest of the fandom, fandom, we're personally quite excited about the Vulcan loner joining the Cerritos. Because from where we see it, it isn't just a welcome influx of new green blood, but she also adds a fascinating new dynamic now that Mariner, Rutherford, Tendi, and Boimler are all tight-knit. Up next, will Boimler find out William joined Section 31 in Season 4? By getting Captain Freeman to finally let Shax eject the warp core, which is the Bajoran security chief's go-to strategy in a crisis, Ensign Brad Boimler became one of Lieutenant Shax's Bear Pack. Seeing that Bradward is recovering from a personal crisis after his identical transporter clone, William Boimler, died on the USS Titan, we think both of them really needed this win. However, the show's finale revealed that he never died. Instead, William faked his death to get off the Titan and join Section 31. Say what you will, as we pointed out in the intro, this is a fascinating seed planted for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4. Come to think of it, it could be taken one step further, where hopefully Brad finds out William is alive, setting the Cerritos on a collision course with Section 31. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is something we'd give a limb to see. Last but not least, what Season 3's end credits scene means for Season 4. Now that the show's most defining moments are over with, let's proceed to the end credits scene. Yes, there was one. If you haven't watched it yet, you might want to pause this video and give it a quick peek. Done? Alright, let's get into it. The scene teases, as you guys might have noticed, the return of Badgie. Still activated inside Rutherford's original implant, he's showcased floating among the remains of the Packled cruiser, the USS Titan, which, for those of you who don't remember, was destroyed in the Kala system back in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 1's finale, No Small Parts. This little teaser is a surefire sign that come Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, the evil anthropomorphic Starfleet Delta will be back. While we can't say for sure, we've a feeling that he'll be part of the unholy alliance of artificial intelligence that wants revenge on the lower deckers of the USS Cerritos. To make this theory make more sense, let's quickly leap back into Star Trek Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 7, A Mathematically Perfect Redemption. It featured, if our memory serves us correctly, the rogue exocomp Peanut Hamper meeting Agamus, the malevolent computer. Now, if Peanut Hamper and Agamus were to break out of the Daystrom Institute, they could form a triangle of robot evil with Badge in Season 4. Since corrupt AI is a running theme in the show and plays a big role in Season 3's finale, and even beyond, this theory isn't that far-fetched, because even after defeating the corrupt AI of the USS Alito, the lower deckers' evil robot nightmares may just be getting started. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of the Season 3 finale? Did you want anything to play out differently? How pumped are you for the show's 4th season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.
Mysterious benefactors thing? This whole operation is shady as hell. Fine, go on then, dig away.
It's all of them, Captain!
The Merced is at your disposal, Captain.